in Muslims, let the Muslims discuss will they have hijab or whatever they have to. Reforms cannot be imposed by the others. Otherwise, I will reform you and say, all of you eat beef. It is the cheapest protein. It is the cheapest protein. India will be very, very healthy.
Hello friends, my name is Abhay Kumar and we are holding discussion on hijab controversy. Recently, Karnataka government has passed an order that women wearing hijab should not be allowed to enter educational institutes, and that decision of the BJP-led Hindutva government has been protested by Muslims women who are wearing hijab, and they are demanding that such order is against their fundamental rights to education as well as their fundamental right to religious freedom. Several people, those who believe in secular ideology, progressive ideology, they have said that BJP is once again trying to deprive educations to already backward Muslims women, and the agenda of the BJP government that it is serious about empowerment of women is now being questioned. Today, public intellectual, journalist, human rights activist John Dayal is joining the discussion, and we will try to ask his opinion on hijab law as well as the larger issue of empowerment of Muslim women. We must keep in mind that illiteracy is a big problem in India, but Muslim women is facing really the big challenge of illiteracy, and their representation in higher education, particularly in science stream, is not very satisfactory. So we will try to take the hijab issue and go beyond that controversy and take up the larger issue, the questions of gender justice, women's empowerment, and Dr. John Dayal has been active, has seen several ups and downs, has seen several communal design to disturb peace and amity of this country, and also to polarize people on the basis of religion. Sir, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you.
So the first question, any person, any individual who believes in secular ideology, the rule of the law, and who has any idea about India's composite culture must be feeling disturbed to see dozens of what should I say, Hindutva goons going and stopping, creating ruckus and attacking weaker section, particularly Muslims women, and they are saying that hijab is against equality and they should not wear it. On the other hand, they are wearing a scarf, they are openly using religious symbols, they are attacking minorities. These things according to them are very much secular, but the most marginalized women who have already denied education in private educations because they cannot pay huge fees, if they go to a study somehow they are being denied. Is it not something very disturbing, sir?
Of course, it's very disturbing, and I would not be surprised if tomorrow or the day after, these people, instead of wearing a scarf of orange or saffron on the neck, if they just open up their trousers, because exposing yourself to young women has been tried in other countries by racists and by others to shame and frighten the marginalized groups from not coming to school or not coming to the market or whatever. So I would not be surprised, because this agenda is quite clear. It's a twin agenda of polarizing and communalizing the political environment and ensuring that Muslim women in particular and the Muslim community in general remains under stress, under coercion, under duress. And I must say, to some extent, these people have succeeded because the courts have also sided with them. A large chunk of society has sided with them. They're not coming out to protest in the manner they should. And managements of education institutions, including government managements of government institutions, are by default joining the same group. So the poor Muslim women have almost been thrown to their own devices. And therefore, most of us are saluting that girl who, when she was chased by this mob of saffron hyenas, she turned back and confronted them and defeated them. That is the whole thing that has been reduced to.
Sir, India is said to have a long tradition of liberalism. People have always protested religious sectarianism. So why a strong voice is not emerging? Why Hindutva forces, why communal forces appear to be running amok and they are going everywhere unchecked?
It's not just liberalism. From Vivekananda and even before that, there have been these twin, very strong signs in Hinduism and in any other religion. One is a progressive effort to reform and liberalize and modernize the religion that is as strong as the other thing, to impose a rule of law, to impose democracy, to broadly have a modern society. That is true for all religions. And therefore, the basic argument is that you are saying that you brought in triple talaq to liberate the Muslim woman. I contest that argument totally, because you criminalize man, the Muslim man, which has always been your endeavor. You criminalize the Muslim man. But if you say really that you care about the Muslim women, then you must attract the Muslim woman to the school and the college by any other way. Whether she wears a hijab or she doesn't wear a hijab, whether she has money or she doesn't have money, whether she has conveyance or doesn't have conveyance, your effort, the state machinery, the state funding must be to get that Muslim child into an educational institution.
Sir, and what is your view that the government is invoking Karnataka 1983 Education Act, and it is saying that any dress which disturbs equality, integrity of the country and public order, maybe law and order, that will not be tolerated, that cannot be allowed. So what is your view? Do you really think that hijab or any traditional dress of minority community is so threatening that it can really demolish this mighty state and this mighty administration?
That is the terrible thing. They are saying that this thing, which is identified with Muslims, provokes Hindus. I don't believe that. Why should it provoke Hindus? And when schools impose a dress code, they impose it from the neck down. They don't impose it on the head. You can wear two chotis, you can wear single, you can cut your hair, you can keep long hair, you can wear a cap if you wish to. Men do. If you're bald, you wear a cap. Or you can wear a turban, you can wear a handkerchief. The uniforms are, and there also great care is taken by schools to see that it doesn't hurt anybody. They will not impose half skirts on adult women. They will say you come in a shalwar kameez. For boys, they will say you come in long trousers. So school managements, when they are concerned with bringing children and educating them, they take care. And in Kerala and many other places I've seen, even Hindu girls, in North India, they put on a dupatta. They put on a dupatta across the chest. These are, okay, somewhere you put the dupatta in a belt form to see that the modesty of the girl is preserved. The effort of schools, whether it's a Catholic school or a government school or a Muslim school or a Hindu school, is to assess the girl in preserving her modesty in whichever way that suits her. Once all the girls are together in a class, I've seen many places, not me personally, because I'm a man, but I know from my daughter that once in a class, many of them take off the burqa because they were just girls together. But in the distance from the gate to the classroom, it's open territory. It's a public place. And the girl is quite entitled to dress as she wishes to.
Sir, Christian religious groups, they are managing several schools, and those schools have always been open to Christians and non-Christians. Several politicians, leaders, top bureaucrats, they have all studied there. Why such schools do not create such problem that you have to wear this and you have to come in that in this way? Why majority community is not learning such things from like a Christian missionary school?
Because they don't want to learn. Today they are painting Christian schools and Christianity itself as a foreign religion, as an enemy, as an anti-national. So when you're painting an entire institution, we run about 50,000 big and small institutions across the country. There are uniforms, as I said, check shirt or trousers or skirt or whatever, which is common for everybody. But if a Muslim girl comes with a hijab, not a full burqa, and if a Sikh boy comes with a turban or a scarf on his jura, it's allowed. It's part of the thing. If it's a grown-up boy in class 12 or 11 or 10th who has a beard, they're not going to ask him to shave it off. Nobody will dare say that. They will not say that in a school you must come clean shaven. Nobody will say that. And therefore, the whole effort is to provoke, to agitate, to see that there's a confrontation, in which case, as a larger community, more powerful community in government, they can come with all these hoodlums. We don't even know where they got those hoodlums from. Because in any Hindu house, my neighbor's house, you're not going to find a saffron scarf. And these are all new saffron pieces of, so somebody bought them by the bolt, by the thorn, and cut them up and distributed it. So there's a full plan for it.
Sir, I am also born in a Hindu family, upper caste Hindu family, and my mother, who is very old, she still maintain parda. I have also seen some Christian women, also those who are nun and those who are into, let's say, associated with religious organizations. They have also their own dresses. Similarly, Muslims also wear different kinds of hijab, different kinds of niqab, different kinds of different colors of hijab and niqab also. And there is also not one agreement. But why, when it comes to fanaticism, why, when it comes to oppressing women, why Hindu right-wing organization first pick up Muslims community? Why?
No, it's not just first. Now they are collecting, see, even the anti-conversion laws, they were against Christians, but they fine-tuned it. They brought in marriage and made it against Muslims also. So for the RSS, for Savarkar, for all of them, Christians and Muslims are foreigners, aliens, and they can only talk of us as aliens because they have nothing positive to offer to their own community. They can only collect people around them by spewing hate against Dalits, against Adivasis, against Muslims, against Christians, and tomorrow against somebody else. It is part of the design. But what is shocking to me, Dr. Abhay, is that, no, I'm not talking of the government. The government of the BJP, whether it is in Karnataka or New Delhi, at the national level, they are scoundrels, they have sold themselves and they have sold the nation. But I'm talking of the courts, because all of us, including me, say we will go by what the courts say. But what has the High Court of Karnataka done? The single judge passes it to the three-member bench. The three-member bench says, we will take a decision, but till then, don't wear hijab. They've already decided that they're not going to allow that. You could have said that let there be what was, which was, if you're wearing a hijab, you wear a hijab. If you're not wearing a hijab, don't wear a hijab. But when you say there will be no signs of religion, what is a sign of religion? What about a Catholic nun who's teaching in a school? She comes sometime in a sari, sometime in a what we call a habit, where she has a cap, like a nurse's cap on her head. Will you ask her to take it off? The old women, the Punjabi women, the Sikh women who cover their head. The great Sikh leaders cover their head, including ministers.
Sir, Hindutva parties are claiming that they are really concerned about the welfare of Muslims women. And as far as secular and left people are concerned, or parties are concerned, they support patriarchy, they support Muslim men. So this was the discourse around a triple talaq issue also. And one BJP parliamentarian happens to be women from Delhi itself. She says that the opposition should not question the law against triple talaq because Modi Bhaiya, the brother Modi, is there to take care or to look after Muslim women. So, are you really disturbed? Are you really disturbed that the BJP is only making symbolic issues, only creating ruckus, but as far as doing development to Muslim women is concerned, they do not seem very serious. And several reports have also come that as far as budget allocation to minority community is concerned, it has been reduced drastically, and even several scholarships they have been reduced. So the government led by the Hindutva forces are not serious to do something concrete. On the other hand, an impression is being created that Congress or left parties or Samajwadi Party or Lalu Prasad Yadav's Rashtriya Janata Dal, these parties are basically doing Muslim male appeasement, and we are really serious about Muslim women. And Muslim women, even many BJP leaders have also claimed that they are voting for the BJP also. So, is it not something very disturbing? And could you also suggest something that the fight for Muslims women's rights to wear hijab should also include other measures also, their representations, empowerment, educations for them, health facilities, and so many other things?
See, first of all, let's get the motives clear. The BJP, whether it was Atal Bihari Vajpayee, Lal Krishna Advani, or Narendra Modi as Chief Minister and Narendra Modi as Prime Minister, do not bother about the welfare of minorities in general and minority women in particular. Mr. Modi as Chief Minister of Gujarat never supported scholarships passed by the center, passed by the Planning Commission, which are to be distributed. Even today, the Chief Ministers are loath, seem annoyed when asked to release funds for minority scholarships. The current budget has reduced many of the big programs of scholarships have been reduced to zero in this current budget. So we know what they are going on. Whenever they talk about empowering Muslim women, they say it in a language to provoke the more conservative section of Muslim men. They phrase their language in such a poisonous tongue as to provoke another controversy, so the basic issue goes away. I say it is for the Muslim woman. And let me come here, just take a digression. How do you know Muslim women are voting for the BJP? Have you got Pegasus in all their phones? Have you got Aadhaar fine-tuned to find out where they are voting? Are you micro-analyzing polling booths to find out? What crap is this? So let me now come back to the main thing. It is for the Muslim woman to decide whether she will wear a scarf or not wear a scarf. It is her right, not the right of Muslim men. And if it is not the right of Muslim men, what blinking right is it of chief ministers and prime ministers and policemen and chief justices?
Sir,
what we want from the government, and I now speak on behalf of both Muslims and Christians, we want an equal platform of social values, and there majority communities have an advantage. You go to government schools in the rural areas, even in Delhi, in my neighborhood, every school, what is on the walls apart from Saraswati Devi? You got Hindu gods, Hindu icons. You don't have multi-religious icons. You don't have the sayings of Jesus or the sayings of the Prophet or the sayings of the Lord Buddha. You don't have Ambedkar's sayings. You just have whatever you think. Even in Delhi, the Chief Minister of Delhi, all of them are taking a majoritarian view of what they think is secular. It is not so. We want not only an arithmetical equivalence, but a value-based equivalence. Our religious values, our cultural values are part of the national values of India. We're not different. We are adding to, we're not subtracting from the national values. And this, if this is understood, there'll be no debate. Because how many girls would like to come in a hijab? Maybe 20%, maybe 30%, maybe 50%. So what? So what? Heavens will not fall. They will be learning science. They'll be learning sociology. They'll be learning economics. And if they learn economics, they will question you. Where are the jobs? They will question you. Why are you spending your taxes on somebody else? They will question you. Why are two people becoming so rich and the rest of us are becoming so poor?
Sir, would you like to say something, some other measures which should be taken by government if they are willing to listen to our discussion, that should go in the direction of empowering Muslim women?
See,
Something which the previous government has also not paid much attention.
I would say three things. The child should be enabled to come to school and should be comfortable in the school. Let me first come to enabled to come to the school. There must be transport. There must be security in the transport from home to the school, whether it is 1 kilometer or 20 kilometers, as happens in rural areas. She should be allowed to do that. Then she should be comfortable in the school. Are there enough toilets? Are there enough toilets for girls? Shamefully, most schools don't have enough toilets at various age levels in terms of cleanliness, in terms of flowing water, in terms of all sort of other sanitary things that are needed by young women. They are not comfortable. And then, as I said, environment in the school, environment on the road, environment at home must be secure and safe. The parent must feel safe, the child must feel safe. And the government already had, the planning commission under the previous governments had lots of scholarships for minorities all the way from high school to postdoctoral. Advance them, increase them, don't decrease them.
Sir, will you share the feeling among a section of Muslims community that when it comes to issues of the majority community, the secular parties are very much vocal, but when it comes to the rights or the denial of, let's say, the basic rights of Muslims community, secular parties do not stand with them, and they cite the example of hijab also. And linked to this question is that a section of progressive and liberal people, they have said that hijab ban is bad, but hijab we don't support it. So at a time when people have realized that diversity is beautiful thing, not uniformity, one language, one culture, one religion is not the best thing. So will you accept the view that the liberal sections, the left sections should also change their opinion that we should celebrate
No,
celebrate pluralism?
right after 2002, after Ayodhya, after the rail accident and the murder, mass murder of Muslims in Gujarat, the ground for debate has been twisted. The ground for debate now does not encourage a frank discussion on minorities. The ground has been changed. The grammar of discussion has been changed. So all of us will say girls should not suffer under patriarchy. Christian girls should not suffer under what the father says, father, biological father like John Dayal, or the priest, or even the grandmother, that they should be free. A Hindu girl will say, whether it's a Jat girl or a Gujar girl or a tribal girl, I should be free to go to school. I should get the same food, the same milk as my brother gets. Why should he get milk and I not get milk? Patriarchy is bad. But now patriarchy has been reduced to patriarchy of Muslims, patriarchy of Christians, patriarchy of Dalits. It has come away from the larger assault on patriarchy. And therefore, on symbols, on things of the sort, whether it's triple talaq, why do you allow bigamy among Hindus? I can name many people. Everybody knows it is common. Everybody knows. Why do you allow that? Why do you not give Hindu women this additional rights? Liberate them more. You cannot tell me today that a Hindu girl of Bihar has the same facilities of going to school and college as a Hindu girl of Haryana or of New Delhi or of Tamil Nadu. You cannot say that. Because I visit those places. I know what is the situation in Jharkhand, how difficult it is for girls to go, how the girl is made to assist the parents in taking care of the younger children, in going to the field, while the boy drinks milk, goes to the school, comes back and doesn't do any work. It's happening. So poor boys, of course, have to do work. But the debate must come back to patriarchy, conservatism, each in its own religion. In Muslims, let the Muslims discuss, will they have hijab or whatever they have to. Reforms cannot be imposed by the others. Otherwise, I will reform you and say, all of you eat beef. It is the cheapest protein. It is the cheapest protein. India will be very, very healthy. Look at where the West is. They win Olympics. China, Japan, everybody eats beef. They all win Olympic golds. They're excellent poets. They're excellent painters. They're excellent sportsmen. They're excellent warriors also. So let us not impose my eating habits on Hindus. Let me not have them impose their habits on me. Let me try to reform my own religion. You want a common civil code? Give us a sample of what you mean by a common civil code. And I will give you suggestions as to how the code can be more common, much better. I will count calorific values, what you do in poverty, determining poverty lines. I will tell you how in the same income you can get more calories. You won't like that, no?
Sir, as a human rights activist, intellectual, writer, journalist, and also a prominent member of Christian community, what is your message for those who are struggling, and how the battle for religious freedom, for right to education should be fought, given the conditions that even the institutions, the secular institutions, are not coming to rescue the victim?
No, about the failure of secular India, two things stand out. Secular India itself, civil society itself, is largely Hindu. And for most of them, they will say, I agree with you, John, but they'll say, I agree with you, John, there must be total freedom of religion. But why do you convert? They will put the word but. I agree that Muslim women must be totally liberated. But why do they wear a hijab? I agree that Dalits should be totally liberated. But why do they want to ride a horse? It's not compulsory. I agree that Adivasis must be totally equal. But why are they fighting against POSCO and against all those companies coming?
What is the answer to this but, sir? What is the answer to this but?
This but exposes them. The but exposes their vested interest. The but exposes their need, their zeal to control all the wealth there is in this country. All the wealth, not just mineral wealth, not just money, not just oil, not just manufacture, not just GDP. Control knowledge. Control all the other things. Control freedom itself. My freedom is to be guided by their yardstick, not by a general yardstick which is common to all, not by my yardstick, certainly. I can accept that also. But that's where is the rule of law? What is happening to these judges, 3-member judges? Why are they saying, till we give an order, you accept our order? How is the order later going to be worse than the order today?
Sir, thank you very much, Dr. John Dayal, for talking to us on hijab and the questions of Muslim women and their empowerment, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.